Hey everybody, it's Mark again. What I have here is a one day after the hunt musical cuckoo clock that has the little man that comes out. It belongs to a friend of mine, Nathan, and he asked me to fix it. This clock was made in the 1960s, I'm going to say. The reason why I say it was made in the 1960s is because there's no count wheel and there's no date code after the 25. It's a regular 25 movement, and there's no date code. They started the date code in 1970s. There would be a count wheel if it was from the 50s possible, and there would also be a DRGM patent number on the movement. That's why I say it was made in the 1960s. But shows that it plays the anniversary song. Not for sure exactly what that song is, but anyway, it does tick away. If I was to pull on the time side, it does tick away, but the Cuckoo bellows are not chiming, and I think a lot of it's got to do with the click assembly. It's kind of hard to turn. So we're going to take this movement apart and clean up the casing, the case. First thing I'm going to do is take off the hands. And have a container readily available for all my parts. This is the little fitting so you can adjust the minute hand, the hour hand compression fit on. It's actually fairly loose. I'll take that off. Cool thing about this clock, it does have the little mouthpiece and the big horn for the French horn that it has. Next thing we have to do is allow the cuckoo bird itself to fall in. So I'm going to disconnect the cuckoo bird from the door. I got my ultrasonic cleaner heating up. Next thing I'm going to do is take out the bellows. You have one screw here, and then typically a nail. Some of these modern cuckoo clocks, the bellows are glued in. Luckily, this clock is old enough that the bellow is not glued in. This clock actually belongs to his grandmother, I believe. The bellows are in fairly good shape. I'm going to disconnect the wire from the bellow, and I want to keep this bellow with this bellow lift wire with this particular bellow. So as normal, I'm going to put a rubber band around it, and I only need to do this with one bellow. That way I know that this wire stays with this bellow. Then the other one, I don't have to worry about putting a rubber band around it, because I know that that wire goes with that bellow if it does happen to come off. If you watch my other videos, you want to make sure that when you put the screws back in, that it goes in the same and the nail goes in the same holes as you took them out. I have a video out there that describes how the bellow was made, and the more holes that you put in this bellow, you're going to change the sound of the bellow slightly. You hear the difference? It's all got to do with me putting my thumb over that hole. So make sure that you put the bellows back in. Because this has a music box in, once I remove these 4 screws, I'm going to be able to maneuver the trip lever, which is this lever right here for the music. I'm going to be able to maneuver that off that wire. I also need to take the chains out, and as you can see, I use magnetic screwdrivers. It helps me out. Now if I was working with pocket watches, you would not want to use a magnetic screwdriver, or you'd want to demagnetize your pocket watch whenever you were done, because using magnetic screwdrivers on a pocket watch, magnification, because the gears are so small, it'll stop your pocket watch. It won't do it with the little bit of use that I'm using it for this clock. There are 4 screws in this movement holding it down. So once I get the last screw out, which is right here, and once I take the chains off, in order to take the chains off, you're going to have to take one of these links and spread them apart. And then you could pull the time chain out of the way. And I have a mess with these chains here, which I'm going to have to straighten out later. And I'm going to have to maneuver the Cuckoo link. And that's why I had to take the screws out, because the Cuckoo side chain is up too far. But with loosening the screws, the movement drops, and it allows me to take it out. And now I'm also going to take the pendulum leader wire off. That way I'm not forcing that out of the clock to bend it. This pendulum leader wire, you want straight as an arrow. And now I can take this movement and, well, the wire connected to this trip lever here wasn't connected that much. So, the clock is fairly dirty. It hasn't been serviced in a while. So, we're going to take it apart and service this movement. I do not recommend dipping and swishing a movement into your cleaner. I recommend taking it apart, and of course I don't want to put the bird in the cleaner. And so to take this movement apart, I'm going to take the 8-point star wheel off because it's a lot easier to put it back together with this star wheel off. Loosen the screw, get the gears out of my way, and it should pull off. I might have to put a screwdriver underneath it to pry it the rest of the way off. And sometimes these screws will break off if the thing hasn't been taken apart in a while. And I want to take the rack and snell off. So take this E-clip off. Move the snell out of my way so I can see this E-clip, which is on the minute wheel with minute pinion, along with the washer. Again, magnetic screwdrivers help. And now I could take the rack off, the snell off, and the minute wheel with minute pinion. Next thing I want to do is take this wire off that holds the lift lock lever down. Sorry, the rack lock lever. Rack stop lever. I'm confusing myself. Now, this thing has got those compression E-clips where you need that fancy tool to take them off. And this is my modified fancy tool. I ground this off and putting it into the clip. If the clip is too far down, you have to bring it up or these tools will not work. And so I typically hit them with a hammer to bring that clip up some, and now you can get your tool in there. And take it off the rest of the way. Try not allowing this clip to fly into oblivion as you do it. I gotta take this right here is what stops the music as it is cuckooing, so you gotta take that off. And you have another one of those clips on this one, which is not up in the air enough. So and again, it's just a modified tool that I ground off with my Dremel. Now I could take the lift lock lever off, that's what this is, and the rack stop lever off. And now I could take these 4 nuts off. And let me get my socket to do that. I like using a socket. I don't like using a pair of pliers if I don't have to. If I can grab the right size socket, I don't think I did. Again, getting my son's toolbox that he got me, which was actually designed for phones and computers. There's plenty of small sockets in it. That first socket, I believe it's stripped. Sorry, first nut. And that's why I'm having trouble with it. So I will use a wrench to get it started. And then use the socket to take it off. And of course, you can't get to this nut unless you remove the high note lift lever and low note lift lever, but I'm not going to. And now I could take this movement apart. And there's a E-clip for this lever right here. And don't make me get out the book to tell you what that lever is called. It's just the lever that stops it from cuckooing when you're done. And of course, I will not take the gathering cam with gathering pen off, nor do I take the minute arbor apart. And you could do it now or you could do it later, but you want to take toothpicks to every one of these holes. I said this before, I'll say it again. An ultrasonic cleaner will not get into the tough to reach spots. And if you put your movement into an ultrasonic cleaner and you take it out, if you put your disassembled movement into an ultrasonic cleaner without taking a toothpick to all these holes, you take it out and you take a toothpick to all these holes, I'll bet you $20 that the toothpick will come up dirty every time. And so with that being said, if you do not take these movements apart and you do a dip and swish, yeah, your clock might work, and it might work for a few months to a year or even a couple years, but after that it's going to quit working. And these clocks are meant to work for 3 to 5 years before having to need service. But you also want to polish up the pivots for the escapement wheel and the number 2 wheel on the time side. And you want to polish up the pallets on the verge assembly. And I do that with the Dremel. And so I got a video out there on polishing up pivots. And so if you got a clock that you cleaned, took it apart, cleaned it, and the clock will not stay running, it's because your pivots need polished. More than likely, if it's in beat. I have another video out there on experimenting with cleaning solution, and And I need to update my video because I do add about a quarter of a cup to a cup of I can't think of the name of it. Stand by. Before I went in there, I figured the name of Murphy soap. Somebody in one of my groups that I'm a member of said that Murphy soap is kind of like oleic acid, and it'll shine up your clock plates where oleic acid is harder to get a hold of. And so also do not take this bird wire off, because this brass is brass. You take this off, you put it back on, you take it off, you put it back on, you're going to break these little pieces here. So I do not recommend taking this bird wire off, because once you break these little pieces, you are SOL. And I have a video out there as to if your bird is bouncing in and out of the door. One of the reasons might be because these are not tight enough. So you want to inspect it to make sure that it is secure like it's supposed to. But anyway, I'm going to put this thing into my solution, and we'll get back to you. I got my ultrasonic cleaner set for 15 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to take some case cleaner. I'm going to clean this up so it looks better. If you think your movement has a lacquered finish on it, or if you don't know, do not put your movement into the ultrasonic cleaner for more than 5 minutes at a time, because if it has a lacquered finish on it, your solution could take that lacquered finish off. So I'm gonna clean this up, and of course I took the chains off, and the damper for this clock is broken. So I'm gonna have to get with my friend and see what he wants to do about that, because it's not going to play all the notes, because the comb, is broken. So I'm going to have to get with him to see what he wants to do about that. Even though the comb is missing a few teeth, if I can get it to play here. The music still plays, and the little guy did go back in. I just hit the wrong button here. I'm trying to do this on camera for y'all. Everything does work, even though the comb's missing a few teeth. You're just going to miss a few notes. And I'm going to have to, again, talk to my buddy. But I got the case looking better. I still got to do the topper. And the topper, of course, it's missing the antlers, but the deer's also missing an eye. And I do have those beads I bought from Hobby Lobby, where I repaired one of my clocks for a pheasant that was missing an eye. I think I'm going to put one of those beads in there. It'd be better than not having an eye. Is it perfect? No. But it looks a lot better than not having an eyeball. So, I think my friend will like it. I took the parts out of the ultrasonic cleaner, rinsed them in water a couple times, then rinsed them in rubbing alcohol, then put them all in this ice cream bucket full of holes, and put my hair dryer on the top on top of it with a hole in it just for my hair dryer, and with my hair dryer on low heat, dried off all the parts. Now I'm going to take my Dremel with this wire brush on it to the Burge and crutch assembly pallets and clean those up. And I'm also going to clean up the pivots with my wire brush. I'm just cleaning. I'm not doing nothing else but cleaning the pivots up. And as you can see, they look a little bit cleaner. And now I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to polish the pivots on the escapement wheel and the second wheel. In order to do that, I also it was my eyes playing with me. I thought maybe there was some rust. There is some stuff in there that I don't like, so I'm going to clean that up. And you want to inspect each gear to make sure it looks suitable for you. Make sure there's nothing in these pinion gears that will stop the clock. But I'm going to take this wire brush out now, so stand by. And with one of the gears, an escape wheel, I'm going to take my Arkansas stone to the pivot. The only thing it's doing is polishing it. It's not taking away any material from that pivot. And if you could see that line that's going across, that's the width of the pivot, that's what you want. I control my Dremel. This Dremel I've had 30 years, maybe. Yeah, I bought it about 30 years ago. It's a multi-purpose pro variable speed, but you turn it on one, and one is too fast. That's why I control it with my fingers. I slow it down to where I can stop it. That hurts some people. And so you do what you want. They got different size, different speeds of Dremels out there. And you do what you want. But I'm going to polish these pivots. And if the Dremel is too small for it, you can put this in a drill. So that's what I'm going to have to do. My Dremel is too small. They make different size collets for these Dremels. And this one's too big. This one's too small. So I'm going to use my drill to polish up the rest of the pivots. And I'll get back to you. It's now time to put the movement together. And you could use a bowl, a big 2-inch wide, 3-inch wide masking tape roll will work, a bowl, a container. You could purchase those little legs that fit on here. I like using this piece of, I think it's 3-inch PVC pipe. Either way, I like using it. I can put the movement in here and start putting the clock together. Inspect the ratchet wheel to make sure it's working properly. It goes down first. Second wheel is a 1-day clock. With a 1-day clock, it goes great wheel, second wheel, and then escapement wheel. If it was an 8-day clock, it would have an extra wheel in it because it's an 8-day clock. Strike side, make sure the ratchet wheel is working properly.